Hello and welcome to Female Founders. I'm Rachel McCord. On today's episode, we have Jessie Draper, founding partner of Halogen Ventures, and Kristin Cavalliri, founder and CEO of Uncommon James. Today's episode is going to be incredible. You don't want to miss it. Hello and welcome. I am Rachel McCord, reporting to you live from NASDAQ headquarters in Times Square. We are filming Female Founders. Today's first guest is Jessie Draper, CEO and founder of Halogen Ventures. Thank you so much for joining us, Jessie. It is so great to see you, and I'm so honored to have you here.
Rachel, I'm so excited to be here.
Now, tell me a little bit about building your brand and getting to this point in life where you are really investing in women of tomorrow. You have a venture fund for women. You're getting 10,000 entries a year and growing from entrepreneurs looking for your help. Can you speak to what inspired that business?
Yeah, you know, I think I grew up in Silicon Valley, which is it seems like it would be typical that I'd end up in a venture capitalist seat or at a startup. I was a former entrepreneur, and I went into media like you. This is how I started my career, and I started interviewing entrepreneurs back in 2008 because I didn't think I could go into venture capital, even though I'm actually a fourth generation venture capitalist and the first female in line, because all I saw was men. And I realized there were two problems. One, women were not getting enough media exposure, women in technology, and two, they weren't getting funded. And so I went from interviewing incredible women in tech to, I went and raised my first fund by pitching a lot of the guests I had had on my show. And pitched maybe 500 potential investors, raised my first fund, and now we're going into fund 3. We have 70 companies. We've sold them to Twitter, Walmart, and numerous others, and they're doing great. And these are all 100% female-run companies.
Wow!
When I say 100%, there has to be a woman in the founding team, but we love men. I'm a boy mom. You're a boy mom.
Yes.
It's not a man-hating club. We need everyone, but we need women in the leadership seat.
Absolutely, and I think when you look at the statistics, and I know that that's really been a driving force for you, that's the reason why you're focusing on this area, because it's looking at a market and saying, there is a lot of coverage here, there is not a lot of coverage for women, there is not a lot of coverage for minority-owned businesses, and we need to make a difference. We need to do something different. And I think what's so beautiful about it is that you're touching a very scary part of business. Investments are so scary. So can you speak a little bit to those tips and that advice for those entrepreneurs who want to be funded by a company and a venture firm like yourself?
Definitely, and I see the world through a gender lens, so I have to say we've collected so much data on incredible female leaders, and I used to be like, no, we have to act like men, but we don't. We have so many positive qualities that make us better investors, better leaders, because of what is like innately inside of us. And so that would be, for example, you're bringing up, oh, I feel like it has to be perfect, and it's hard. I want to make sure it's right before I launch this book. In terms of these pitches, I do see a lot of women saying, oh, they're apologizing. Like they come in and they apologize. And I'll have a woman come in and pitch, and then I'll have a man come in and pitch the exact same company. And the man will be like, I don't have a product. We're raising at a $40 million valuation. We're kind of figuring it out as we go. And the woman will come in and say, I'm so sorry, it's a $7 million valuation. We're doing $4 million in revenue.
Wow.
We're profitable. And I'll be like, so this guy just came in and he was very confident, so it made me feel like I wanted to give him the capital, but you are actually doing significantly better. Wow. And so I think women need to stop apologizing, and then also know that because we are more risk averse, that means we take much more calculated risk. So you're, as a woman, thinking about so many other things. And so we need men, we need like the risk appetite, the gambling appetite, but we also need women in there. So I'd say go out there and make sure that you're not feeling like you have to have your ducks in a row. no company is perfect. When these pitches come to me, I see clay prototypes of vagina products. I see like people like sketching out wireframes of websites. I mean, these are the early stages. You have an idea and a room and maybe 3 founders, and it's always going to get better. You're always iterating. Like, I would, as an investor, never expect it to be perfect. In fact, I love the transparency. Like, come in and say, we tried this, it didn't work, so we're doing it this way. And that shows that you collected data and you took more calculated risk.
I think for a lot of us women, we look at women like you and we see the success that you've done and we think, wow, that's incredible, she did it. And we genuinely do cheer for you and we really do, yes, please. But then there's sometimes that feeling like, what about me? Can I do that? And then oftentimes that self-doubt creeps in and we think, no, maybe not. So I love that you're speaking to the confidence of it, because I think that's super important.
I agree. I mean, I feel like a fraud every single day. I think every woman does, and men do too, you know? I think you feel like, you know, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing the best I can, and I really would say just like take the pressure off. You're doing something awesome, get out there, try it, learn as much as you can from everyone around you, but I think everyone feels that way. So you even saying, you know, you've been so successful, like I feel like I am just getting started and I have such a long way to go. There's so many people out there who are so much more successful than I am, who I want to learn from.
I love that. And I love how you're so humble about it, because I think it is really important to remember wherever we are in the journey that there's someone looking ahead, there's someone looking behind. Hopefully we're looking together to see what movements and what shifts we can make. And I love that you're taking your platform and you're really making a difference for those statistics, those numbers. I imagine the legacy that you're going to leave and thinking in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, looking and seeing those numbers going up of the companies that are being invested in from a female perspective, a minority-owned perspective. I think it's so important.
Yeah, I mean, women are only getting 2 to 4% of venture capital funding, which is absolutely ridiculous, and it went down the last couple years, which is for a million reasons, one of which is obviously childcare is a broken industry and has been since before the 1950s. But something that's really cool is we're investing right now, one of the categories we're investing heavily in is future of family and childcare. Childcare alone is a $648 billion market, and future of family, which incorporates ed tech and anything supporting the family, that is a $7.5 trillion opportunity. And I bring that up because we're investing to make money and change, and our investments within that category doubled in the last year. And so I would encourage more people to get into that space right now, because there's so much opportunity.
That's incredible, and I love the work that you're doing there. I, as a mama, a little 2-year-old baby, I feel the pressures, of course, of being a working mom and wanting to make sure that I'm doing my best. And childcare is such a big part of it, because if I don't have someone there doing what I need for my little man, then how do I stay focused with where I am? What exactly you would encourage that childcare focused venture looking for investment from you and your team, what would you advise them to do with their pitch?
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of what industry you're going into, what you should do in your pitch is walk in with confidence and know that you do have all the answers. Don't be nervous about that. Investors see thousands and thousands of pitches, and everyone goes a little bit differently, but I think the best thing you can do is be confident, be transparent about your numbers, be transparent about what is going on, because if you try to shy me away from something, I'll be like, no, I'm gonna ask about that because you're kind of like hiding something. In your pitch deck, though, a couple of things to incorporate. First of all, I always believe it should be no more than 10 pages. Okay. You should first set up what's the problem you're solving? Why is this such an important problem to solve? And then how are you going to win? How are you doing it differently? And what is proprietary about what you're doing? What's the moat you're building so that no one else can get into this space and beat you, basically? And so, what's unique to you? So I'd say set up the problem, and then also know the market size. We invest in billion and trillion dollar markets. So make sure that it's a billion or trillion dollar market, or let us know how you're going to get there. And then, usually some sort of high-level financials. Certainly don't show all of your financials in your initial pitch. That's something that investors, if they're interested, would follow up and ask about, but something high level. And also know that projected financials are total BS. I don't know what I can say on this. They're projected. You're making them up. Like, the investor just wants to see in the next 5 years, how are you going to get to 5, 10, $100 million? And so you're making those up, and no, they're not going to be perfect, but you need to have an argument as far as how you're going to get there. And then talk about your team, talk about any significant partnerships you have. And then, women forget to do the ask. And the ask is the most important thing. So the easiest way to do the ask is you put it on the last page of your pitch deck, and you say, I'm raising $5 million at this valuation. Here's who's already excited about it. And do you have any questions? So you don't even have to say it. It's just there.
Wow, I love that. And I just want to say truthfully, as a woman in business, thank you for what you're doing. I know you're sitting in those really uncomfortable rooms, asking for money to pull together, and as a result, you are literally helping people's lives and dreams be transformed. And so I really respect you, and I think you're really awesome. So
thank you,
thank
Rachel.
You so much. And up next, we have Kristin Cavalliri. Don't go anywhere. And we're back with Kristin Cavalliri, founder and CEO of Uncommon James. Hi.
Hi.
Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you.
You too.
You've been in New York doing tons of press. You have a new cookbook coming out. Yeah. You have a new store opening in Charleston. Can you tell us about your journey as a reality star turned entrepreneur, really crushing it in business?
Oh gosh, well thank you. I mean, it's been just that. It's been a journey, I was a kid essentially when I started on Laguna Beach. I was in high school, and it wasn't until I graduated high school, I was really into acting for a few years, and then the Hills made me an offer that I just couldn't refuse. And I knew if I was gonna join the Hills, I had to really capitalize on that whole branding world. Like, I really had to lean in if I was gonna do that. So that's what I decided to do. I ended up launching a shoe line with a well-established company, which I loved. But from there, I realized while I was supposed to have final say, I really kind of didn't, because I was working with a team of people, a company that had been around for years. And I ultimately wanted complete creative freedom to do what I wanted. So I decided to launch Uncommon James, which was at the time, I launched it with just jewelry, and that was the next natural step for me. I look back now, it's been almost 6 years, and it's so funny because I had no business plan. I really didn't put a lot of thought into it. I'm someone who really runs off of gut instinct. And for me, it was, okay, I need someone to create my website, and I need a manufacturer. And that was it. And from there, I was off and running. So by the time I decided to launch Uncommon James to when I actually launched, was only like 4 months. In hindsight, maybe not the best idea. The product we put out wasn't the best quality. There was a lot of learning lessons that I had to go through, but I did it, and here we are almost 6 years later, and I couldn't be more thankful for everything that I've been through in my life, because as we get older, I feel like everything is building blocks, and my time on reality TV led me to where I am today, and it all just kind of like comes together and makes sense. And so I'm thankful for it all, because it's gotten me where I am today.
It's incredible, and you're an incredible female founder. I mean, it's very rare that people with even success in reality television know how to translate that into a brand. I mean, you were ahead of the curve as far as branding and marketing and leaning into all of that. Most people now are just probably following your footsteps and learning that. And so for you to have done that and to have so much courage and stepping out on your own, I'm sure it influenced your decision to maintain full equity of your business. How have you done that? I'm sure everyone's clamoring. I mean, I want equity on Uncommon James. Everyone's clamoring. How have you managed to maintain that?
I mean, I'm very thankful. I'm very lucky. But I also think I've been very smart about decisions with the business. I just decided from the get-go I wanted to be 100% owner, and for a few reasons. I mean, one of them, probably the biggest, is that control piece, that freedom and control. Because now, of course, our new game plan with the company is to open a lot more stores. We're opening Charleston this summer, which will be our 4th, and I think now from here we're going to open a lot more. So of course the question now is, well, do we take on investors to open up all these stores so we can do it really quickly? And you know, it's exciting to me, but I also do worry that I'll lose a piece of that control, and I don't want to have to answer to anybody or even have conversations with anybody else about the company. So I don't know, it's this ongoing battle that I'll probably always face. But here today, I can look you in the eyes and tell you I am still 100% owner, and I'm very proud of that, and I hope to keep that as long as possible. So I don't know, it's just always been a very conscious decision, yeah.
You should be incredibly proud because especially to get it to the brand it is now. I mean, generating over 30 million in revenue every single year and growing. I'm sure that number is evolving even as we speak.
Yeah, thank you.
What advice would you have for female founders and entrepreneurs coming behind you on how to build a business and do it at the scale that you've done?
Well, first I have to say, you know, you really have to listen to yourself. I mean, like I said, I run off of my gut and I don't get wrapped up in all of the noise. You know, I know what's going on in the landscape. I know who my competitors are. I'm paying attention a little bit, but I'm not getting hung up on it. And I'm not comparing Uncommon James to other jewelry designers, let's say. We really are just doing our thing, you know? And so I think that's really important. And I also think too, no matter what you do, it's not just if you're a female founder, it's anybody in life. People are gonna wanna tell you no, they're gonna wanna tell you you can't do that, don't chase your dreams, oh, that'll never happen. You can't listen to any of that. If you have drive and you have passion and ambition, those things can't be taught. That scares a lot of people. But if you have those things, sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want in this world.
I have followed your career for so long. Obviously, I had you at Magic in Vegas, which was such an honor. Our audience love you. I love you. And I think what you've done that's so phenomenal is you've honed it on your branding. I mean, it's such an extension of you, but it also is so open and inclusive, and it's beautiful, and it's different. It's not what you see everywhere. I feel like you've done an incredible job with social media and sharing your story. I'm obsessed with your social media.
Thank you.
So I would love to talk a little bit about what inspires your social media strategy because you guys crush
I love this conversation. Thanks. I mean, now it's a whole team of people, but I will say, because when I launched the brand, we had this sort of sassy tone. You know, I like pushing the envelope a little bit. That's just who I am. I've always been that way. You know, you either love me or hate me. There's
love.
no in between. Thank you. But so I will chime in with the social team and say, what happened to our sass? What happened to these little fun quotes we used to do? And this, you know, just I like pushing it a little bit more. And I respect my team for it because I think to them, they would rather play it a little bit safe than push it too far. But I'm like, push it too far and then let me tell you to reel it in.
I love that.
But I mean, when it's my company, I can say these things. I get why my team is a little bit more careful. But I definitely think, and especially now with social media and this landscape that we're in and everything is to get a reaction, everything's so quick, you do have to have these like emotional posts in a way. And that's why like these girlfriend posts and this like, oh, these fun, sassy posts, they really do well, they resonate. And so if the goal with social media specifically is to grow your following and obviously get sales from it, well, how do you do that? You want to get people talking about your social media. You want to get them tagging their best friends. You know, that's how you get more eyeballs on you. And so I definitely think the sassy kind of voice for us specifically is very important.
That's incredible. You do that so well. And it is so authentic. I mean, you can just feel the brand culture right there. And it's different. And I think, again, that's what we want. We want those beats. We want those moments.
Yeah.
Now, with social media specifically, I mean, we're seeing so many changes, obviously, with ChatGPT and AI, and everything is so different. How do you stay the course with all of the changing landscape?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I mean, even just being here at NASDAQ, I'm like, wow, like the news, you're just always.
Like, that will make you feel old, you know? I'm like, I can't keep up with all of this stuff anymore. AI kind of freaks me out, to be honest. You know, again, that's why I have a team. The girls will come over and, you know, because I haven't been on TikTok. We have an Uncommon James TikTok. The girls will come over and have me do all these things, you know? You say this to this audio, and I'm like, okay, listen, I'm trusting you girls to keep us relevant and do what you think is cool. But I don't know that stuff anymore. And that's why I do need these 25-year-olds working for me because they know what's cool and what's not. But it is always evolving. It's always changing. And it's a lot to keep up with. I mean, it just is. I'm maxed out at my own personal Instagram. So my hat's off to these people who can really keep up with all the stuff.
Well, it speaks a lot to you as a leader because that all trickles down. And how have you had such an amazing boldness and courage to invest in yourself in the way that you have? Because I'm sure there are those moments, right? In the beginning, especially of self-doubt. Like, how did you push through that so well?
You know, it's interesting. I actually feel like I have more of those moments now than I did in the beginning, because in the beginning, it was like I didn't have time to think about anything. I was just going. And I've always kind of been someone who isn't afraid of a challenge, who isn't afraid of getting out there. In fact, I actually love that. You know, I love proving people wrong. And not that people are like, you could never do it, but it was just like, I'm gonna show everyone what I can do. There's always been that fire within me. But now, more than ever, I think it's like pressure to continue to scale and grow at this rate that we have been. And $30 million isn't good enough for me anymore. You know, now I want to be at 45 and then I want to be at 70. And it's like, obviously, that's what I want to keep doing. But it's like, if we don't hit our numbers, I'm like, forget it, I'm over. I don't even want to do it anymore, you know? But I have more of those moments now than I ever did in the beginning, which is probably a good thing that in the beginning, it was just like head down, you're grinding, you're not even thinking about it.
That's incredible. Okay, so success means so many different things to so many different people.
Yeah.
But for you as a mother, as an entrepreneur, as a human, as a friend, what would you like to leave behind? What's most important to you as you look ahead for Kristin?
Well, I mean, success to me is really inner peace and happiness. And, you know, my 3 kids are the most important thing to me. I love Uncommon James. It's been so much fun. I'm very proud of it. But it's nothing compared to my kids. Raising 3 kids to be happy and just have inner peace, I think, is the most important thing. I just want to set my kids up so that when they go out into the real world, they can navigate this insane world that we're living in and build a life that they love, you know, because that's ultimately what it's about. Kids, I mean, you know, kids are like having little pieces of your heart walking along the planet. And it's
so
like the
scary.
scariest thing.
Oh,
it's the
so
scariest
scary.
thing. And you want to protect it, obviously, but you also know you can't protect it from everything. That's not good to protect them from everything. They have to experience sadness and pain and all the things. But it's scary.
Yeah, so scary.
But that's like my ultimate goal is like, if my 3 kids can be happy as adults, that's all I care about.
Wow. Thank you so much,
Thank
Kristin.
you.
Thank you for being here. And thank you for watching Female Founders. I'm Rachel McCord, and we'll see you next time.